guys, so today we are going to begin talking about standard SS8H8, and this standard covers Georgia's involvement in World War I and the Great Depression. So, of course, we are going to begin by talking about Strand A, and Strand A just says, describe Georgia's contributions to World War I. So first of all, let's talk about World War I. World War I was a war that was fought mostly between European nations. However, when Germany sank U.S. merchant ships, the United States joined the war to assist Britain, France, and Russia. The United States officially joined World War I on April 6 of 1917. So this is just a model that shows some of the contributions that we are going to talk about throughout this video. And this is, I believe, an image of a victory garden, and that is also going to be something that we talk about throughout the video. So what were Georgia's contributions to World War I? Well, mostly and mainly, Georgia provided military training camps during this war. And these training camps were Fort McPherson, Camp Gordon, Camp Benning, and Camp Stewart. By the end of World War I, Georgia had more military camps than any other state. So think about, why would Georgia be such an important place for military camps in World War I, which is a war that involved European nations? Well, the coastline and, Georgia's coast had a lot to do with that. So Camp Gordon was the largest military camp in Georgia. It was completed in 1917, and it was located in Chamblee, Georgia. And it was the home to the 82nd All-American Division. This is a photograph of Camp Gordon and a postcard from Camp Gordon. And here is a commemorative plaque. Now, Georgians and most of the other U.S. citizens were really reluctant to join this war. Georgia's economy is hurting because of this war, and cotton, timber, and tobacco are not reaching Europe. So Georgia builds airplanes that are then used in the war, and the Air Force Flight School is built, which trains 2,000 pilots for war in Georgia. A prisoner of war camp is also located in Georgia that holds 4,000 prisoners. Here is a video of the internment camp that was located in Fort Oglethorpe. Over 100,000 Georgians fought in the war. Over 3,000 soldiers died in Europe. Many Georgians at home bought war bonds, and these war bonds were basically loans to the government that gave the government money so that they could fund this war. Another thing that I told you guys we were going to talk about are victory gardens. And in an effort to encourage Americans to grow their own food and help out with some of the shortages that are occurring in the war, during the war, there was this huge campaign for citizens to grow victory gardens. And if you grew a victory garden and you grew your own food, it was really a sign of like your patriotism and how much you loved America and were in support of America during this time. So on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, an armistice or temporary end to the fighting is declared. And this is November 11th, and now we celebrate that as Veterans Day. So, how does World War I end? Well, Germany surrenders, and the Allies impose the Treaty of Versailles, and this declares Germany guilty for war, and Germany must pay reparations to the Allies. So, Germany is not really happy about this pretty harsh punishment, and this sets the stage for World War II. Also, at the ending of World War I, the League of Nations is formed, and this is formed to try to prevent a future war. So let's talk about some casualties. Total troops mobilized by all countries, over 65 million. Total troops died from all countries, 8.5 million. Total troops wounded, 21 million, and total troops missing or prisoners of war, 7 million. So this was a pretty devastating war. Over 65 million people fought. Over 20 million people were wounded. 9 to 10 million died on the battlefield, and 20 million people died due to hunger and disease during this war. So in summary, what were Georgia's main contributions to World War I? Definitely military camps. That was their main contribution. We did talk about that some airplanes were built, and citizens did grow food for themselves to try to make up for the shortages that were occurring. But Georgia's main contribution during World War I was military camps. And that concludes Strand A of H8. And now we are going to move into the rest of the standard.